Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to go over again the stereo Realist camera used for making 3D images. I wasn't really planning on doing anything like this because there's really good resources on the internet, and one guy in particular has done some really nice work on restoring these. That being said, I got this one on eBay for like $8 because it's missing its back and it was in kind of beat up condition. I thought I'd go a little bit more into it. Start with some details here. You probably already know it has two lenses, and the focusing lens is in the middle, or the viewfinder lens. And in the back, the actual focusing is done. I'm going to try and show this here. The actual, when you're actually focusing this, what moves is this back plate here. It goes up and down, and that is what your focus is. It drives your film either closer to or farther from the lens and allows it to focus. And what I discovered with this one is that as you turn the focus knob, it drives a rod, which is kind of a cam, and there's a couple of I don't know if you call them lobes or not, but there's spots where two arms ride up and down a groove that's cut into this rod at both ends. And I noticed right away that one of these, I don't know if I can get you in here to see this or not, one of these moves. I'm trying to show you this. Well, I'm not going to be able to do it the way I want to. Oops, sorry. One of these things moves. There's one here, and there's one here. And those are what make the film board, I guess you'd call it, move. And one of these two pivot points moves, the other one does not. I guess I'm not going to be able to show you that. This one back over here is stuck. This one here is stuck. This one here moves. And if you had this camera in your hand, you could see the rod on both sides here, and you'd be able to see the lobe, or the low spot, or whatever you want to call it, that this arm right here rides up and over and allows, this film plane to change for focus. So I'm going to take this apart, and I'm going to do mostly, I think, a slideshow, because as I said, there's and I put it in the show notes in the previous video on the stereo camera. There's a guy out there who's done a really nice job of a maintenance video. So with that, I'm going to take this thing apart. And I also noticed one more thing. One screw is missing right here on the face. That implies that somebody's already had this camera apart once, so that could be part of the problem with it. So I'm going to take this thing apart and see what I can find, and I'm going to take pictures so you can share the experience. Okay, just want to go over a couple of things before I wrap this up. I put the front back on, and now I just got to put the front on. But there's some function things you might be interested in. So once you've taken a shot, of course you've got to recycle the camera, and the first thing you have to do is you push this button. You've taken the picture, you push this button, and you kind of hold that, and you start to turn the take-up knob. Now when you push this, that pushes this, which allows everything else to start to work. So you push that, you turn the knob, and what is supposed to happen, it's not happening in this camera, is once you turn the spool knob, that pushes this little pointed gizmo in, pushing on that, which unlocks this here. I don't know the names of these. I'm just going through the process as I understand it, using my less than technical terminology. So you press the button, that unlocks this, turn that is supposed to push this in. Now when this one is turned, this arm is not being activated, so that tells me there's something wrong either with the top of the spool or with the gearing underneath the knob. I'll fiddle with that later. This gets pushed, that gets pushed, and while this is happening, the film is locked into these sprockets, and with all of this stuff doing its job, that allows right here this crescent shaped thing to turn. And what is supposed to happen, and is not happening with this, is that this arm, okay, I should have said in the beginning, you take your picture, and in this little window here, back it up, in this little window here, you get a red flag, and that is this. That's what you see. So you do all this stuff, everything is supposed to work together as you, I gotta unlock this thing again. That unlocks this, and it's supposed to allow this half moon shaped gizmo to turn, which pushes this longer lever with the red flag on it out of the way, and this arm is supposed to catch on this arm right here and hold it out, and that allows you to take the next picture, which you do that by pushing on this button, which in turn presses down on this lever here. So let me recycle the shutter. Okay, I didn't show that, but pretty self-explanatory. So you've done all this stuff, everything has worked in harmony, which it did not in this case. I made it happen. You press the shutter release button right here, that pushes down on this, makes the shutter work, and is supposed to drop this lever here so that this with the red flag can reappear in the window, telling you you've taken a shot. And in the process of this, your counter moves, and all sorts of other magic and wonderment happens. In this case, this thing has some alignment problems. I don't know what happened to this camera, but it was not treated or used or stored very well. So, but as I said in the beginning of this is an experimentation camera. It was bought incomplete, and it's just a tool for learning, at least for me. So that's all I wanted to go over. I've got another video I'm going to do sometime in the near future with the results of my first roll of film with one of my working stereo cameras. So until then, one more final note. If you wanted to take multiple exposures with this thing, which I can't imagine why you would want to, because it would, as far as I can tell, it would look horrible. You would pull this back until it clicks, and that would hold the shutter release. This end of the shutter release would function, so you could reset the shutter. We'll see if it works. Yep, and it will keep doing that until your film is as exposed as it possibly can be, and then to unset that, it pops back in. And that is how you would take multiple exposures. So there you have that.